Tannie Evita, thank you so much for making time for the SABC mere minutes before you go on stage for theatrics of a different kind than what is playing out in the current political landscape. Tell us a bit about your latest show, Lock Up, Lockdown.
Well, I am represented in Lock Up, Lockdown in some very interesting ways. Of course, Lock Up is specifically for the politicians and Lockdown is for us ordinary people. And we hope to actually remind everybody of the madness and the tensions of the last 19 months, but we have all survived it with dignity and with good spirit, and laugh a little bit at our fear will make that fear less fearful.
Now, you know the ins and outs of politics like no woman before you in this country. What is your take on an election during a global pandemic?
I think every election is during a pandemic. It's a pandemic of fear, it's a pandemic of excitement, and of course now it is a pandemic of disease. I think it is the only time to do it because then everybody is focusing on how important it is for them. And I really think this municipal election, do you know, having been through the lockdown, kyk hoe lyk ek my skat, I look completely different because I couldn't go to the hairdresser for weeks and weeks and weeks, and suddenly I realized that every brown cloud has a silver lining. And so this is what I look like after the lockdown. And frankly, I think South Africa has adapted and not D-Y-E-D, died. I think it is very important that we understand how the future of South Africa depends on the municipal vote much more than the national vote. And really everything that we went through during the lockdown was made better or worse by a municipality. So let us do it properly.
You've always been a fervent advocate for people to go to the polls. Why is it so important to you that people actually vote?
My skat, you also remember for most of my life I was a white South African who had the vote, and most people who were South Africans did not have the vote. And I am very specific about saying to everybody, your vote is the key to your door. And quite frankly, every democracy deserves the government they get. So if people aren't going to be bothered, they mustn't complain when the wrong people take charge.
With this municipal election, we've seen everything from late submitting of forms to people trailblazing across the country to campaign. What are your predictions for the major parties this time round?
Do you know there are so many little parties like little kittens playing in the sandbox? And it's good. It keeps them involved. I would like to see the ANC and the DA actually go into coalition because they are the professionals. They are the big people playing the game. And we haven't got time for sentiment and looking after the parties that give motor cars to people in order for them to be voted for. Alla wêreld asseblief.
Tannie, now in previous elections, I remember that you served political party leaders coffee and cook sisters. You haven't done that this time. Is there a reason why not?
Well, most of the Cook sisters went to Jacob Zuma because he never stops wanting something sweet. Good time, man, se soetant, ne? I haven't got time at the moment, mainly because of lockdown, to rush around with the Cook sister. But everybody understands the sweetness of the success of democracy. If we use the vote carefully, if we keep our masks on to protect people around us, if we keep our social distance, which is also very important, and common sense, go out there and make that cross to bear your cross.
All right, we'll have some more news for you after a short break. Do stay tuned.